Chair recognizes Mr. Perry from Pennsylvania.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, ma'am, sir. I'll give you an action item. I know that you got a lot of places, but I got a call from one of my bosses yesterday. Went to the Dairy Street in Harrisburg post office to buy a roll of stamps, 100 stamps, and he was told we don't have any. Now, that's one of the money-making, I think, portions of your business. I think we can agree. Is that something that's endemic? Is that something that is that associated with personnel issues, or is you're not able to produce them enough, or is that just a one-off? What do you know about? I mean, I got to answer my boss here.
I have not heard that before. So
you have or have not?
I have not.
Okay.
So I'll look into it.
Please check for me. I want to talk to you. I know there's been a lot made of this EV purchase, and according to, I think, the Postal Museum, your current cost for a traditional, what I'll call traditional vehicle, is $11,651. And the cost for the electric vehicle is $59,000. So that's a $47,000 increase, or at 66,000 vehicles, $125 million. Now, this is probably your opportunity to tell
us. That was the
us.
cost in 1987 when
we
bought them.
What's that?
That was the cost in 1987 when we bought the LLVs.
Okay, so that's what the museum says, right? So I'll take your word for it, right? And I'm sure since 1987 it's gone up. My bigger question is this, and this might be your opportunity to be critical of this place, of Congress. I think you stated that the subsidy from the IRA is what makes the cost of the EV, it makes it worth the effort, charging, et cetera, making the change, the additional cost, and so on and so forth. Can you quantify that? What is the subsidy, if you will, provided for each vehicle that the post office procures?
Well, I think once in place in our particular route system we have 300,000.
Yeah, sir, I get that you've kind of done the numbers, but that portends to me that you know the numbers. So what is the subsidy? You've done look, this has been your business even when you were in the private sector to a certain extent, right? So do you have a number? What does that look like? Because with all due respect, I guess, to a certain extent, Congress is either mandating or incentivizing the purchase, but the American people are paying for it, whether they buy stamps or whether they pay their taxes. So I'm trying to discern what that cost is.
You gave us money for us to pursue a certain initiative.
Yeah.
We needed vehicles, right? So we had $1.9 billion. I purchased enough vehicles to deploy an infrastructure for $1.9 billion. Okay, then I had $1.2 billion for vehicles. I used $1.2 billion to neutralize the increase from gas vehicles on the purchase price to electric vehicals. So that's more or less.
I get the point, but look, I didn't run the numbers. I suppose we can. Maybe Ms. Hull can at some point. What I'm trying to see, when you say we gave you, yeah, the United States Congress, the United States government took money away from the American people, who are also, and I'm not saying this is your fault, but they're paying for the post office when they buy stamps and buy service for delivery, so on and so forth. But now they're also paying for this transition, and I'm trying to get you to help me evaluate the worthiness, the additional cost. What is that? What is that additional cost per vehicle?
If the Congress wanted us to pursue electrification of our fleet.
Say that first part again.
If the Congress wanted us to pursue electrification of our fleet, which is why they gave us the money.
So let me ask you this, then.
I think we used the money appropriately.
Let me ask the question a different way. If Congress hadn't provided the incentive or the mandate or the requirement or whatever you want to call it, would you, as a business manager, have pursued this effort on your own? Would the payback be there? Would the financial, would the numbers support the decision?
I would not have pursued it as aggressively and deliberately as we had.
Okay,
but when
fair
we came
enough.
out with the vehicles, we had 10% in electric vehicles.
Let me ask you this question, because I'm running out of time here. I think you said at the Senate hearing that 80% of your cost is labor. Does that seem right? 80%?
75 to 80%.
75 to 80%. So I don't know what your business model, and I say yours, the post office's business model has lost in revenue over the past 40 years. It's probably pretty high, probably above 50%. right?
Look,
So you as a former private sector delivery guy, would you in a business that is losing money at that level then transition your contract employees to full-time employees with the additional benefits and cost? Would that be something that you would do as a private business?
well, I did it in the circumstances that I was in. There was, I had 60.
You did it now, sir, or you did
I
it then?
did it well, I would make the business decisions that I need to make, looking at all the elements
I get it.
of the situation that I am in. And that is what, in fact, I did. I did not just put 100,000 people on the payroll. I have 20,000 people less than when I walked in the door. I'm burning 45 million hours less than when we got.
I understand you have
I
less
have to hire
employees, but you have more
200,000 people.
full-time
I attrit-
employees
I
with
attrit
all the benefits and
45,000
the
people a
associated
year.
costs, and that's the point, sir.
What's that?
I understand you're trying to manage this, but I don't think in any other industry. Look, I ran a business too. When I was hemorrhaging money, isn't the time I went out and hired people because I couldn't afford to pay them. With that, Mr. Chairman, I yield.
I came here during the pandemic. I need to deliver mail to 167 million addresses. I couldn't hire people. I compete with Amazon, UPS, and FedEx. Right? All of it does. It doesn't reside with me. The place was a mess when I got here.
So, sir, if you could enumerate what could be done differently here to help you, that would be helpful to us. I yield.